Hello and welcome to the Differentiation and Google Forms webinar. Today, during our webinar, we're going to talk about how to use Google Forms to differentiate in your classroom. Our agenda for today. First, we're going to meet our presenter and our facilitator. Then we're going to review differentiated quizzes in Google Forms. And then lastly, we're going to actually create a quiz using Google Forms. Your presenter today, I'm Teresa Kinney. I'm a special education teacher at Stevens Elementary. I've been at Stevens for the last 7 years. You can contact me at tjkinney@garlandisd.net. Our moderator and facilitator today is Samantha Patton. She is the ESL teacher at Hanley Elementary. She's an I3, the GT liaison, webmaster for our school. She previously taught 1st and 2nd grade. She's a Seesaw ambassador. You can contact her at spatton@garlandisd.net. You can also Twitter with her at Mrs. Patton 2, and that's MRSPATTEN and the number 2. So let's get started. As we're going through the presentation, if you're having any issues whatsoever, please just put a message out to Sam and she will let me know and we will see what we can do to fix the issues. Are we seeing the screen? Okay, so we are seeing the screen. We're just making sure. I want to start with, I am not an expert with Google Forms. I've just played around with it for the last 2 years, and by trial and error, have figured out how to do a variety of things in Google Forms. Currently, we run all of our house points through the Google Forms system, and it works great. It's quick and easy. Our teachers have an app on their iPhones or their iPads, and they can input points for the students at any time, anywhere. Let's look at the first quiz that I created. This one is for area, perimeter, and volume. Of course, being an elementary school, my quizzes are for elementary students. The same premise will work for any grade level, any subject. Just take the how-tos and apply it to what you need to do. The first thing I did here is I created my opening section, and I selected the children that are going to be in the group that would be taking this particular quiz. In order to differentiate for my students, not all students are at the same level. So we're going to make it to where we're working with what the students can do. For this quiz, I created 2 sets. Set A has 4 questions that the students can select from. Then in set B, I eliminated one of the answer choices to help my students that need just a little bit of extra help, and in turn give them some confidence that they're getting the answers correct. Okay. This particular screen is the editing screen that we're looking at here. We're going to look at it in a preview section for you. If you go up to the eye, click on the eye, you can preview it. So here's the quiz. Let's say that you are Johnny. Johnny comes in and he selects his name. He clicks on the next button. Then the set of questions that you have already previously selected for Johnny to answer pop up. Once Johnny goes through and he answers the answer choices, reading through the questions, for time factors, we're not going to read each of the questions and the answer choices. We're just going to click through. Okay? And then when Johnny's done, he submits. At this point, Johnny has an option that he can currently view his score. You'll notice that Johnny's received a 75 out of 200. You remember I told you that I'm learning? So I've got to figure out how to not have it calculate the set B questions. So I'm working on that, and when I figure it out, so Johnny made a 75 on this particular quiz. But right now, I would just teach my students how to look at that first number, and that would be the score that they made. He got the first 2 questions right, and he missed the last question. So this would be something that Johnny then could go back, look at his work, figure out, oh, well, the answer was 155 centimeters. Where did I go wrong? Also, as a teacher, it gives you the opportunity to see where he's making mistakes as well. Okay? But Johnny then gets immediate feedback. The set B questions, you'll notice, all have the red X's. This is the part I need to figure out how it won't show Johnny those particular questions. Okay? So that's what the student would see from their side. If you come up and click the pencil button, that goes back to your edit form. Once you're on this form, you can go to the response section and look at the data that you are provided by the responses. You can find out what the average range is for your students, which ones are getting correct and which ones are not getting correct. You can look to see how Johnny does, Susie, Sally, and Tommy. Okay. You can see I've not taken a lot of quizzes on here. But as you get more students in there, you will really be able to see the data. Okay. All right, let's go back to the question section right now. And I want to answer a question for Sally. I'm going to be Sally now so that you can see how it's differentiated for Sally. And notice that Sally only has 3 answer choices that she is going to select from. And again, you're picking what questions they are going to answer and providing the answer choices. And again, Sally just submits, and Sally has the opportunity to look at her score, and Sally made a 75. Or set A, you teach your students right now to not look at set A. You're in set B. So she missed the first question. She should have selected 64. Okay. So that's one question, one type of quiz. And then to get back to Google Forms, again, we just click on the edit pencil and it takes us back. Okay. You'll notice here that it tells you where to go on the next section. As we're learning how to create a form, that will become very evident as to what you need to do. Okay. Best advice to you, don't be afraid of it. Just get in there and do it. Oh, I've made all kinds of mistakes, but yet it's easy to fix. I love that Google Form saves every single thing that you've been working on. So we're going to go to the other quiz that I created. Simple quiz, same way. This one is just for a social studies class. So you can see how different you can make the questions. I'm going to be Susie this time. And notice that it's a longer question. She now has question and answer choices to make. It's just a multiple choice question. She can go in and select the different questions for whomever the answers are, because I have a hard time not selecting the correct answer. Okay. And then submit. Again, she can see her choices again. So she made a 99 out of the 198. Okay. Questions so far? We're still good?
You're still good.
Okay. So we'll go back to the edit form. Now, I know while you're all here, let's look at how to create our own form. So to do that, you'll start from just the main Google Forms page. If you have trouble finding Google Forms, just go to Google, type in Google Forms, and then click on the down button. When you're here, there's different types of forms that you can use. You can use an assessment form, an exit ticket form, or a blank quiz. Well, we're going to start with a blank quiz today. So we just click on it. It brings it up. Don't worry about the title right now. We can change that at the end when we're finished. So the first thing I want to do is I want to have my students to select their name. So type in, select your name. I am going to choose that it's a multiple choice question. I'm going to put in that I'm going to have Johnny, Sally, Susie, forgive my typing, and Tommy, right? So now you can edit any of this that you want. When there's anytime there are the little boxes that pop up, that means that's something you can do with it. For this one, I want to be able to have additional sections for it to go to, and I'm going to show you how to link those next. All right, so now I want to add some sections for the questions for them to answer. So over here, I'm going to add a section, come down to the equal. Notice that on the right, it tells you what you're looking for. You can add a section. Here's add a video, add an image, add a title or a description, and this is just add another question. We'll use that in a minute. We're going to add a new section. In this, we're going to work on some synonyms. We're going to have a little quiz over synonyms. And I just call them set A, set B. And, you know, and the kids will learn that they're taking, oh, I'm taking a set A test, I'm taking a set B test. It won't matter to them what it is, okay? So here, I need to add a question now. I just clicked on the add button, the plus. I'm adding a question. So my first question is going to be, you see where it says question there? I'm going to type in my question. What is a synonym for beautiful? Okay. Now I'm going to give the answer options. Maybe it is pretty, ugly, throwing in some antonyms there, dirty. Maybe we put something completely off the wall for them, delicious. Okay. Then what you do is come down to where it says the answer key. Of course, you can give as many answer options as you want. All right, I'm going to come down here to the answer key. Now I have to come up and I have to tell the computer which one is the correct answer. Well, for this one, it is pretty. Okay. So let's add us another question. By doing that, I have to, oh, excuse me, click the wrong button there. Come back up to my section. See how easy? It's very forgiving. Come back up here. I'm going to add another question. And this one is going to be, what is a synonym for loud? If you want to put in parentheses, you can, or quotations, whatever you want to do. Let's see, loud, I don't know if it's soft. What would be another word for loud? Maybe I put tired. Maybe I put laugh, laughing. Maybe we change that. Oh, I want to change that. I want that to be an antonym. Antonym for loud. Okay. And then yelling. Again, I've got to go in and I've got to select my answer choice, and it would be soft. Okay. Easy peasy, right? Yes. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to create my second set. This one I created, I don't need it. So look, I just click on it, and I'm going to get rid of this section. Goodbye. It's gone. Okay. So I want to take this section and I want to copy it because I want to be able to create my differentiation. So I come up, I'm going to duplicate this section, and it will put it here at the bottom. Now I'm going to edit that. This is now going to be section B, and I'm going to come down to my questions. Oh, let's see, beautiful. You know what? I'm going to get rid of the one that's this silly answer. I'm going to get rid of that one. And then, of course, I'm going to come down here to this one. I think I'll get rid of this tire. That's a silly answer. And let's just see what they really do now. Okay. So now that I've got my 2 questions set up, I need to go back and I need to make sure that I click on the required so that the computer knows that this is a required question that the students have to answer. I need to come back up into the set first question, click that it is a required question. I'm just fine-tuning right now. I'll come back up to this one. I need to click in it, and I need to make sure that it is a required question as well. Okay. So it looks like we're all required. Okay, looks like we're good to go. Let's do a quick check to make sure I've not messed anything up so far. Again, remember, it's very forgiving. Oh, I've misspelled name. Looky there. We need to fix that. Johnny, next. Let's see. What is the synonym for beautiful? Okay, well, I know that's pretty. I know an antonym for is loud, soft. Moving on. Oh, wait a minute. It asked me the same things again. Uh-oh. I know I've got to do a little bit more correcting here. Okay. I'm back to the editing now. Before I forget, let's go and fix my typo that I made. All right. And I need to make sure that's a required question checked. Another little check here just to make sure. Okay, looks like I'm good. All right, so now I need to determine which students have that I want to answer which set of questions. To do that, I come down here to the buttons at the bottom and click on it. So now what I'm going to ask is that it's going to go to a section based on answer. And this is the big key to getting the Google Forms to choose which sections to go to. If you've done any work in Excel, you'll know the if-then comments, the statements that are made. This is like the if-then statement. So if I choose this, then do this. So I'm going to add that for each one of my students. So for Johnny, I know that Johnny is great doing set A. Sally struggles a little bit, and I really want to be working on boosting her confidence, so I'm going to let her do set B. Susie, she's good to go. And then Tommy, let's let Tommy have a little extra help there with his confidence as well. Okay, so here I go and I double check myself again. Know that with Google, as you're working in it, I'm not saving anything. Everything is being saved automatically in Google. So keep it working. Click on the eyeball. I like to call it the eyeball because I'm going to eye what I've been doing. So let's look at Johnny. Let's see if I've got Johnny correct. Next. Okay, he's answering 4 questions. That's right. Click, click. Here we go. Oh, but wait a minute. It still says set B. Okay, I need to go fix that. Okay, I'll do that. I'm going to show you in a minute how to delete all of these answers that are in there so we don't skew our data. Okay, so back to my editing. All right, so now the next step that I need to do, what I didn't do the first time, it's right here. It says go to next section. You see right after each section, it tells it to go to next. In this particular section, I've told the system where to go once they've selected the answer. I've used that if-then question. So what I want to do is come down to set A. After I've finished all of my set A questions, I want to click the drop-down button and tell it to submit the form. You'll notice that on set B, you don't have that option. It automatically submits the form because that's the last section that's on your quiz. Make sense? Good deal. I I guess I better check it one more time to make sure I'm ready to roll. So I'm going to be Johnny again. Next. Pretty, tired, Smith. Yay, I didn't get the extra. View my score. Viewing the score when you're doing your checking, that's the only way to get back to your preview, your pencil that I found. There may be another way, but that's how I found it. And then I can see the, oh, wrong answer, and there's the answer choice. Yay, so I've got my answer choices marked correctly as well. Okay. And then there's that I've got to figure out how to do. Okay. Back to my editing. I'm good to go on Johnny. So how I operate, I tend to have confidence in myself that if I have one of them correct, I've got them all correct. So I just look at the form, then I check, oh yes, Johnny's a set A. Set, oh, you know what? I haven't checked a set B. I better go check a set B just to make sure that I've got it right. And here's Sally, next. Pretty, soft, Smith. Yeah, I got that right, so I didn't mess up. Very forgiving. Please remember, it's very forgiving. Okay? So my form is set up. Now my kids will be ready to take this quiz whenever I'm ready to do it. I could be working with some kids in a circle group, and I'm like, you know what? Hey, group Cheetos, you go work on the computer, take turns, and then we'll come back to you and we'll rotate. Excuse me. Up here at the top, it's a color palette. I happen to like the purple and the light purple here. You can change your color palette to whatever it is that you like on your forms. I just happen to like the purple. Under the little flower is the settings. On the settings will allow you to change to a variety of different things. You can restrict who is seeing your forms, and you can collect an email address. When we do our house points, this is one of the things that I do is I collect who it is that submitted that information to me. Okay. It also gives you options for what the person who is responding can do once they have responded to the quiz or the form, whatever you're having them fill in. You can put them in presentation mode, how you want to show the information, and then this is just a quiz. These are the options that I chose for my quizzes, and you can choose whatever it is that you like to use for your students, your quizzes that you do. Okay. Under the dots, remember the dots, those are our friends. I love the dots. The dots are my friends. We can see every other information here. I can copy this quiz. I just really made a mess of this. I can throw it away. I can get a link that is there and fill it in. Can print anything I need. I can add collaborators. When I've worked on various forms, our CTA, he's a collaborator with me on the house points forms that we do. And it helps me not have to do all the work, but then as a team, your team could share in working out the different quizzes. So you can add the collaborators, and then you can add the script, and you can add on additional items. Okay. All right, so I talked about this data that's out here. So let's go to the responses, because now that my quiz is ready to go, all of this stuff that I've played around with, I don't want that to skew my real data. So what we do is we go to this great big green plus here, and that's our create a spreadsheet. Excuse me. I create me a spreadsheet, and here's all of my data, and it tells me who and what they said, what they selected. So I want to get rid of this data. It's just like using the spreadsheets. I click on the data, right click, and then I delete those rows, and boom, that data's gone. Now it will not skew your information. And know that each time that you open a spreadsheet, you're actually messing with the real data. I've made mistakes, so be careful. That's my forewarning to you. Be careful. I've learned from my mistakes so that you won't make the same. Okay. And then we're back to that. I clicked out of it. I didn't save it. Okay. We talked about having the name changed. So here is blank quiz. I need to change the name of the blank quiz. I do a right click and I can rename. So I want to call this synonyms. And click on it. And now it's changed. You can also share this information with others as well. And to share, oh, I have to remember how to share it. It's under the More, and that's the Add Collaborators. And I'm just going to share this one with Sam because I know hers. And there's Sam. And I'm going to share this information with Sam. I can choose how I want to let her input information. She can notify people, and then I can add her a message. I can just send it to her. I can edit here. Whether she can edit or not, I've given her editing rights. And I can also prevent from changing anything. And that's all done. So now Sam has access to that quiz, and she can use it for herself as well. And you can share that with your teams. Okay. And that's about it. My biggest challenge to you is don't be afraid of Google Forms. It is great to make quick quizzes. It can make you a longer test if you need a different assessment. You can make, as we saw earlier, you can do your exit tickets here. You can do an assessment. What's great about it is the data that you're getting. And the kids love doing things on the computer. It makes things easy for you. You have the opportunity to say, I need Johnny and Susie to do this, but I need Sally and Tommy to do this. You can differentiate what it is that your students are doing in your classroom. Sam, do we have any questions?
No questions at this time. And I just shared the link.
Great. Sam has shared the link. Please make sure that you go on and get your credit for joining us this afternoon. Email me if you have any questions. If I don't know how to do it, I will gladly try and figure out how to do it. Trial and error. Just don't be afraid. Get in there and try it. I really think you'll enjoy it. I love the data that is there, and you're creating history with what you're doing as well. My email again is tjkenny, and Sam is Patton, S-P-A-T-T-E-N. Okay, that's about it. We hope you've had a great time. You've learned something. If you have questions, let us know. Make it a great rest of the year.